Civilizations rise believing they are permanent. They build cities of stone, develop systems of law, accumulate knowledge, and assume that what they have created will endure. History tells a different story. Civilizations collapse with remarkable regularity. Empires fall, languages vanish, libraries burn, and yet something always survives. Not governments, not borders, not wealth, knowledge. But not all knowledge survives. Only certain kinds do. And understanding which ideas persist and why reveals something unsettling about the nature of civilization itself. When societies collapse, the first things to disappear are institutions. Schools, universities, bureaucracies, and centers of power depend on stability. When stability fails, these structures crumble quickly. Written records are lost. Specialized knowledge fragments. Entire disciplines vanish within generations. Yet some knowledge remains, quietly embedded in human behavior, tradition, and the natural world. Consider agriculture. Long before modern science, ancient societies understood seasonal cycles, soil regeneration, water management, and crop diversity. These principles were not theoretical. They were survival-based. When civilizations collapsed due to drought, flood, or mismanagement, the survivors retained practical agricultural knowledge because their lives depended on it. Today, as modern industrial systems strain ecosystems, humanity finds itself rediscovering ancient farming techniques, terracing, crop rotation, seed preservation, as solutions to problems we created by forgetting them. The same pattern appears in architecture. Ancient builders understood local materials, climate adaptation, and structural resilience. Many ancient structures have survived earthquakes, floods, and millennia of erosion, while modern buildings often fail within decades. This is not because ancient people were more advanced, but because their knowledge was aligned with long-term survival rather than short-term efficiency. When civilizations collapse, people do not remember abstract theories. They remember what keeps them alive. Timekeeping offers another example. Every major civilization developed ways to track days, seasons, and years. Calendars were not cultural decorations. They governed agriculture, ritual, and social order. When writing systems disappeared, oral timekeeping and observational astronomy remained. The sun still rose. The stars still moved. Knowledge survived because it was anchored to the sky. Perhaps the most profound survivor is knowledge of cycles. Ancient civilizations repeatedly recognized that societies move through patterns: growth, complexity, strain, and collapse. These ideas appear in myths of ages, yugas, world eras, and recurring destructions. While modern history often frames collapse as failure, ancient cultures framed it as inevitability. This does not mean they were fatalistic. It means they were observant. They saw that complexity breeds vulnerability, that expansion demands resources, that inequality destabilizes societies, that environmental neglect leads to disaster. These are not moral judgments. They are patterns. And patterns survive collapse because they repeat. What is lost after collapse is often wisdom, the restraint to act on that knowledge before catastrophe arrives. Ancient warnings were rarely subtle. Flood myths, fire myths, and stories of fallen golden ages appear across cultures. These were not meant to frighten. They were meant to teach, to remind future generations that collapse is not random, and survival depends on balance. Yet each civilization believed itself exceptional. Modern humanity is no different. We believe technology shields us from history. We assume data replaces wisdom. We trust that progress is permanent. Ancient societies believed the same, until reality proved otherwise. The most unsettling knowledge that survives collapse is not technical, but psychological. Human behavior remains remarkably consistent. Power concentrates. Short-term gains override long-term stability. Warnings are ignored until they become unavoidable. This pattern is as old as civilization itself. Knowledge survives because it is embedded in reality. It does not require preservation. Gravity does not need to be remembered to function. Ecological limits do not disappear when forgotten. Social consequences do not vanish because they are inconvenient. After collapse, survivors relearn these truths quickly, because they must. This raises a disturbing possibility. Perhaps humanity is not meant to permanently retain all knowledge. Perhaps collapse acts as a reset, stripping away excess complexity until only essential truths remain. If that is the case, then the most durable knowledge is not stored in books or servers, but in the structure of the world itself. Ancient civilizations may have understood this. They did not seek immortality through preservation alone, but through repetition. Knowledge passed on not because it was recorded, but because it was necessary. And necessity is the strongest memory system of all. The ruins scattered across the planet are not failures. They are reminders. They tell us that knowledge does not save civilizations. Understanding does. And understanding requires humility. Something history suggests is always in short supply. If knowledge survives every collapse, then the question is not whether we will rediscover it. The question is whether we will recognize it in time. Subscribe to this channel for more. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a story lost to time.